Our second question for the candidates for the mayor's office of Pataskala is, what role do you believe that the city of Pataskala should play in relation to the job-ready site in Pataskala? Marketing, financing, other, or none? Whatever your opinion. Mr. Beekman, you have you get the question first.
Okay. I support if industry or jobs of any kind or small business or big business comes into Pataskala, mayors should help them any way they could to succeed in their business in the Pataskala area. I support any type of employment or jobs or business, even if it's a small business or a large business. You know, do everything you can to help them.
Thank you, Mr. Beekman. Mr. Fox.
I support the JRS site 100%. However, there were some issues going on with the JRS site that started early on, and that is that presently they have a 15-year 100% tax abatement. A lot of you are businessmen in the area, and you understand that that's typically a give me, and that's what we went with. And that was fine. But followed by that is a 15-year 100% tax increment financing program that ultimately will allow the residents in the city of Pataskala to receive literally no property tax relief for at least 30 years. When you tell people that, they wonder why, and the fact is that tip is designed to pay for the road for the developer. Had it been a perfect world, the developer would have paid for that road. Actually, had it been most cities, the developer would have paid for that road, as opposed to the county partnering with the city and ultimately the residents paying for that road.
Thank you, Mr. Fox. Mayor Butcher, what role do you believe the city of Pataskala should play in relation to the job-ready site of Pataskala?
First, I'm going to correct the record that my objection, and it's on public record, was to the word permanent property tax. And I said that if it was a tie vote and the word permanent property tax was there, I would vote against it. In relation to the JRS, my opponent and I happen to disagree about whether there's tax relief. That JRS sites, besides creating between 1,000 and 1,800 jobs with the current 600 acres, just under 600 acres, it's projected to generate $47 million in tax revenue. Certainly some of that money is going to be used to make infrastructure improvements on a fairly large area around that site, not just the road that's directly impacted there. And we're also looking at how that road could be the new State Route 310 that would alleviate the congestion we've got to go through the old village. I think the city needs to play the same kind of role in getting good jobs and businesses into that site that it did in being a cheerleader and a pusher and a motivator, and sometimes a little bit of a grumpy butt on the sidelines, complaining about things not happening quick enough and moving people into action, because it is our site, it's in our city. The kind of jobs we get there are critical. And when you're talking about a little over 200 acres can't be developed by anybody but one single developer, then you're talking about kind of companies that are a Honda or Harley Davidson or somebody that really can generate some volume in there.
Thank you, Mayor Butcher. The third question continues on the discussion of jobs, and it's going to go first to Mr. Fox. What do you believe is the biggest hurdle for the city of Pataskala when trying to bring in additional industry, and how would you attempt to influence the addressing of that issue if elected mayor?
I would say location, location, location. I think the city of Pataskala right now is not in the best location to increase job sites as far as large manufacturing area. To the south of us, we have Etna Township, which has State Route 40 going right through the township, and also has State Route 70 going through the township. The infrastructure is in place, and with the rebuilding of State Route 310 just north of Interstate 70, it has opened it up quite a bit more. To the north of us, we now have at State Route 310, we now have 161, which is running east and west all the way from Newark, which is now a four-lane highway. So I believe that a lot of north is going to develop. I think what we need to center our time on is small businesses in our community. And I don't believe bypassing the downtown village business district, which is the only business district in the city, is going to help with jobs in our community. I think we need to enhance the zoning ability for small businesses to come into our community and to increase and to stop hampering the small businesses in our city with zoning regulations that are costly and mostly ineffective.
Thank you, Mr. Fox. Mayor Butcher, you'll take this question second. And again, it is, what is the biggest hurdle for the city of Pataskala when trying to bring in additional industry, and how would you, if elected mayor, attempt to influence that?
I think it'd be pretty obvious to everyone. We respectfully disagree with just about every position that we have. And in all honesty, that the JRS and this location is probably another example of that. Both Democratic and Republican leaders, from Congressman T-Berry's office to Governor Taft to Governor Strickland to Representative Hottinger, Senator Schaefer, County Commissioner Phelps, all the county commissioners, for 3.5 years, all believed that this was one of the top 10 sites in the state of Ohio, and it got funded at $3.4 million because of the quality of the site it is. The biggest hurdle is going to be getting in our own way. I think there's a lot to be said. Many of the hurdles for its location were overcome because we spent 3.5 years doing what a manufacturer or developer might have to do if he came to that site, and that's going through all the red tape of getting rid of the flint flakes, as the Mayor of Heath intimately understands, to the EPA issues. And so we've already ticked that clock away. So we've got to go out and educate the developers, be ready when the economy turns around, and be a promoter. We've already established a website for it. We're already working with the county towards that end.
Mr. Beekman, we have 2 positions. Do you have yet a third?
Okay. Like Broad Street, it might be wise if they could make 5 lanes with the middle lane being a turning lane from where it ends at Taylor Road and go clear out through past that newer fire department in Pataskala, and that would help the traffic situation, and maybe more businesses would be built up around Broad Street. And but we're just hoping that industry and small business come in, and we can try to help these people if they'll come, because the state and federal is slow too, as far as businesses, and we'll have to just do our best to help small and large businesses come into Pataskala.
Thank you, Mr. Beekman. The fourth question, and we'll start with Mayor Butcher on this. The final question before we do our summaries is if you would share for the audience here and for the audience on WCLT, the listening audience, what would be your top 3 priorities for Pataskala were you to be elected mayor? Mayor Butcher.
And they're not in any particular order because they're all independent, take a different kind of skill set for the most part. Obviously, the job-ready site, because I believe strongly that if we're going to be a successful community, we have to have tax relief. In order to have that tax relief, you do it with business and industry and jobs. We can't continue to try to survive off the property taxes our residents pay. So we need to get those jobs and businesses and industry into the community. So that's going to take a significant amount of work. I mentioned the police department. I'm briefed almost daily about the kind of crimes that happen in our city. We have we're down to 16 officers today in our department. The reality is 15 officers, we're going part-time and not have officers in the evening. And at some point, whoever the mayor is, given the track we're on, is going to have to manage the demise of that police department. And one of the results of that is going to be increased cost because prosecutions will come over to Newark. We'll pay for a prosecutor to handle them, and the money will go to the state and everyone else. And then the third one is to just keep whittling away at the multitude of issues we've had, like the health care, like the workman's comp, like the employee policy manuals, so that we have a solid political base of good management, that no matter who's in that office, the structure is already there.